Hi, welcome to the Take a Deep Breath podcast. My name is Mike. I'm going to be a breathwork coach and host, and it's my job on this channel to bring you really interesting people in the field of breath and wellness, and today I do not disappoint. We've got world record holder and champion freediver Tom Sietas, who has broke over 22 world records and was the first person to hold his breath more than 10 minutes. Now let me just repeat that for a second. He held his breath for 10 minutes, and that is just doing it naturally. You can do it where you take in a load of oxygen and blow off loads of CO2. If he does it that way, he can hold his breath more than 24 minutes. So I was so delighted to be able to get to speak to Tom and understand what's going on here. How are you doing this? Can we all do this? What's going on? He believes that when we do breath holding, 80% of those breath holds are to do with the mind and how we perceive it and how we deal with kind of threat and anxiety and panic and all those sorts of things. So this was such a wonderful podcast. Tom has obviously got a very complex relationship with the breath, and he has his own set of breathing techniques which he uses to get himself into state, and he shares those with us in this Breathcast. So you are going to want to get a cup of tea, get relaxed, and you are going to want to get stuck in, because this is a really dense and really interesting conversation with Tom, and I think we're starting to become friends, which is really cool, because Tom has got in Corfu in July a retreat where you can spend time with him and go and do the breath holds and go and do some free diving in some beautiful caves and some bits and bobs, and I am going to be there as well. So that's July 2022. The link is down below. It's a very, very limited thing where you get to spend time with a world champion freediver breath holder. So if that is something that appeals to you, you can get to Corfu around July time this year, then click on that link and have a look for some more, and you'll get to meet me, you'll get to spend time with Tom, and it looks like it's just going to be a really, really great retreat. So that's what's coming up in July. This Breathcast is all about the breath hold, the breathing techniques, how to get into state, and a load of other really, really cool stuff. And Tom is a world champion, so I cannot wait to get stuck in. Just quickly wanted to talk about today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Airofit. Now, Airofit is a device that helps us basically improve our functionality of breathing. So this device goes in your mouth, and you can set the resistance on the inhale and the exhale, and it connects via Bluetooth to your phone. And there's loads of fun games on there. And essentially what it's doing is it's working out our diaphragm and all of our breathing muscles. Some of our muscles are really underutilized. We sit in poor posture a lot of the time, many of us. We're maybe not as active as we should be. And so our diaphragms have become underutilized. And actually a strong diaphragm is essential to not only breath health, but all of our health. And so by using a device just like Airofit, which I use on a very regular basis, you help to do a workout. It was described to me a little bit like doing muscle workouts in the gym, but for your diaphragm, and it's called inspiratory muscle training, which is a bit of a mouthful. So I use Airofit on a regular basis. The link is down below to our sponsors. There's an affiliate link there that kicks a few dollars back to this podcast. And I encourage you to click on that link and check out a bit more and see if that's something that's interesting for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this podcast with Tom Sietas. So Tom is convinced that breathing techniques are the key element to optimal performance. So enjoy. Cheers. So tell us then, Tom, how did you hold your breath for 10 minutes? What's going on there?
Okay, it's not easy to answer that one, but there are lots of steps I had to take in order to get there to the 10 minutes. It was a long journey. I practiced hard every day, and I had to find out lots of things that would work for me. At first, of course, there's the breathing. That's why I'm here, I guess.
Yep.
So developing the right breathing technique is a major challenge in itself. I mean, there's lots of information out there, and you have to really find a way that works well for your body. And that's not easy, because how do you know that this breathing technique is the best for your breath hold? You can't just go in the water and do it and then you reach a certain time and understand, okay, that worked well, because there are so many factors that influence your performance. So you have to carefully study your body and change just little things and keep most factors constant in order to understand what works for you. But that's definitely one thing, the breathing technique that calms your body down, that allows your mind to relax and slows down your metabolism, so your oxygen consumption goes down. And then there are other techniques that I found over the years that would have me regulate my emotions very well. So different things work there. I use some process called imagination, where you imagine a place or a situation that makes you really happy, because that lets your body release happiness hormones. And these are pretty good for freedivers as well. For example, endorphins, they calm you down, but also they soothe the pain. So you don't feel as much pain anymore when you're under the influence of endorphins. So that's one technique I use. And then you definitely have to manage the negative thoughts that occur when the urge to breathe gets really bad, because it sets in like being a little uncomfortable, but it gets harder and harder over the dive. And at some point, your mind will scream, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to surface. I can't continue doing that. And you will probably ask yourself, and why am I even doing that? So then you have to have good answers, right? So you have to have a strong motivation to do that. And you have to tell yourself the right words that will relax you. So it's also about cognitive evaluation, like how do I assess the moment? Is that, for example, a threat which will lead to a different biochemistry than if you consider it a challenge? So it's what you do with these thoughts that occur, or with the feelings and sensations. You have the power to decide what to do with these thoughts. And lots has to do with this.
Very
so
cool.
I learned many different techniques over the years. And I was practicing, or I practiced constantly and ambitiously. And of course, there are other factors like nutrition and other training. You can do cardiovascular training, when you should do it, how often, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole background you need to understand in order to progress in breath holding. But the good thing is, in the beginning, you can make like huge steps. So the largest steps, the best progress is always done in the beginning. So most people don't understand that it doesn't take much to get from 1 minute or half a minute breath hold to 2 or 3 minutes. And most people would never imagine that it's possible for almost everybody to hold their breath for 4 minutes. And this doesn't take much. It's just, in the end, it gets more and more tricky.
Yeah. You see, for me, I'm about 40 seconds, unless I do some hyperventilation and get rid of all of my CO2. If I was just to hold my breath now, it would be 40 seconds before I start to panic. Although 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Have you done this?
I've been in one, but I don't know exactly what you did there.
I did nothing special. I just did normal breathing, nothing crazy. And about 30 minutes in, it's 97% saturated with O2, and I just did a breath hold, just normal, no hyperventilation, just did a breath hold, 2 minutes, no problems at all. And the only thing I can assume is that I had so much oxygen in me and my CO2 was so low. But there was no stress, nothing. And so it gave me a little bit of confidence that, maybe you can hold your breath for a longer period of time. So maybe it comes back to your 80-20 rule around the psychology and that sort of thing. But when you did your 10 minutes, was that with oxygen or was that completely natural?
That was natural, just normal air, no cheating.
Very cool, very cool. And you said that you do a breathing exercise at the start to calm you down. Can you just share a little bit what that is? Is it like 5 in, 10 out? What are you doing there? Maybe just give it give us a bit of insight. I hope you're enjoying the Breathcast with Tom Sietas. And just before he answers his question about his breathing techniques, I just wanted to remind you about my new Functional Breathing Essentials course, which is out now. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard here today so far, and you're keen to learn more about proper, functional, healthy breathing, then the link down below will take you to a page just to explain more about this course. And functional breathing has a whole host of benefits. You can lower blood pressure, increase focus, get a better night's sleep, have more energy, more clarity, and just feel better within yourself. Because breathing is the rock bed foundation of good health. Because if your breathing's off, everything's off. So if that's something that you're interested in, click on the link below. And now back to Tom and the freediving world champion story. Cheers.
Yeah, the closest my technique comes to is coherence breathing.
Okay.
So that is the 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out kind of breathing, which is supposed to, not only relax you, but to get your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system into balance. And in this state, you're much more able to perform well. So, for example, when you're under pressure, and there have been lots of studies on how to perform, like for example, basketball players, how to perform free throws. And once they do this coherence breathing, they can actually perform much better. Only after 10 days of training, I think there's this one study, 20 minutes each day, and this breathing technique had this impact of doubling the amount of free throws that were scored in 3 minutes or something. So it's amazing what this technique does. And I have always done this naturally in my attempts. It's not really that I counted 5-5, but it's very close to that. I think it's 4.5 seconds that I exhale, mostly into the water, because that also triggers the dive reflex. And then I inhale another 4 or 5 seconds. And I do this for quite a bit. And then I feel really in control of myself. So really calm. And then I start a different type of breathing where I exhale a lot. Mm-hmm. And the exhalation, a very deep exhalation with the diaphragm, lets me really relax, like maximally. So this is one technique that I also use when I wake up in the middle of the night and I want to relax again and get rid of my thoughts. Because it triggers the parasympathetic system, everything calms down, your basically your whole system. And that is basically just inhaling like the 4 or 5 seconds and then exhaling just a little bit longer than that.
Okay.
6-7 seconds, and really focusing on the exhale, because that's the condition you want your body to be in, because all muscles let go, right? So the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, everything is relaxed basically. So that's the natural condition where your body is as relaxed as it can be, right?
Yeah.
So I inhale 4 or 5 seconds. And then I exhale like explosively.
Okay, so in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah.
And then you pause. You waited afterwards.
After a while, I extend this exhalation, and then I even hold my breath for a little bit.
Okay.
And the more relaxed I am, the longer this breath hold period will be. So let's say I start with 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, and then I continue with 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, then 4 seconds in, 7 seconds out, 4 and 8. Mm-hmm. And then I start like after the exhalation, a little breath hold, and that continues up to even 20 seconds. And then, I'm in a major relaxed state, let's say.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to play with that one. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, a pause. And when you're extending the exhale, what are you doing there? Are you like closing the throat off a little bit to help that exhale, or are you just pushing more air out each time, or is it a bit of both?
Yeah, that's more or less a diaphragm thing, because at first I passively exhale everything, and then I feel if I push a little bit with the diaphragm, I can exhale more and more, and that usually takes some time.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's in, then out. So that takes a while.
And with the coherence style, are you doing in nose, out nose, or are you doing in nose, out mouth? What are you doing there at the start?
It's actually in through the nose and out through the mouth.
Okay.
Mouth also.
And this is with no
I
pause.
think
This
that
is
has to do with the water.
yeah.
Yeah, let me think. That's what I do, because I exhale through my mouth into the water. With the nose, it's a little bit weird. I guess you would also like suck up some water.
Yes.
So in the water, I do it this way. But if I do it on land, no, I only breathe through my
Only
nose.
nose,
Also,
okay.
when I want to relax maximally in my bed or something, I only breathe through the nose.
And this is without any pauses. This is a continuous breath in and out. The coherence one you're doing, or are you adding a? Yeah, makes sense. Okay. And yours is about 4.6 seconds. You say something around there.
Say it again. 4.6.
Did you say that you do your coherence about 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds?
Yeah, 4.5 roughly.
yeah,
It's not that I really time it.
Sure.
I just noticed
You've got your, when it
doing the
works.
math, it's around 4.5 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. Yeah. So this is a good question actually that I would like to know. I don't know if you know. So if somebody has got something they need to do, like I don't know, what comes to mind is like a racing car driver. Yeah. Would you say that coherence breathing is like a good thing to do beforehand to get you in the zone? If you've got something of high performance, would that be or would you suggest something else maybe?
In my opinion, the best way to prepare for a pressure situation is to enter the situation being prepared with coherence breathing. This is also something that works in the long run. You can practice that, and your body will like adapt to it, or it will continue breathing in a way that triggers coherence, right? So it will learn how to do it basically, and your subconscious will recreate this breathing pattern after a while.
Yeah.
So this is something you could do before entering a situation like this. And your body will continue doing that if you're really trained. But when it comes to that one situation that is just like that you're in and you can actually breathe, I suggest like exhaling a lot, like when what I described earlier after the coherence phase, just exhale maximally. Do this 3 times and you will be much more relaxed. Okay, so like inhale 4 or 5 seconds and then exhale a little longer than usually.
It does
4 or 5 seconds in.
Always using the mouth always helps me relax. Just that. It's just so relaxing, so peaceful. Yeah, cool. Okay, what is your favorite breathing technique? Is it coherence, or is there something we've not spoke about?
I love coherence because I really feel it, that my nerves are getting like calmed down.
Yeah.
So I really love that technique a lot. I have this what do you call it, biofeedback device.
Okay.
And so I can follow on the screen how my nervous system gets into balance. That's an awesome technology, I think. But when it comes down to being as relaxed as possible, it's just that I love exhaling as much as I can and then staying in that exhaled condition. So exhaling and then holding my breath, because that feels most natural to me. All muscles let go, everything is completely relaxed, and then you don't feel the urge to breathe. There's nothing uncomfortable. So when I try to get to sleep, it sometimes lasts like 40 seconds or so, where I just enjoy being in this relaxed state. So that's something, I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, I can tell your face is all smiley. I can tell it's like your face. What's this biofeedback tool called? Out of interest, what are you using?
I don't know the name of the device. It's a biofeedback tool that is that I received from HeartMath. I think you had some person here, I forgot his name, from HeartMath.
Cool. Okay.
Damn, what's the name? You remember?
Is it Roland McCraty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's the guru of HeartMath, and he describes perfectly what it does to your body. So I definitely recommend looking him up. And this tool is combined with an inner balance trainer. That's an app that you can use on all devices, and there you can see basically how coherent your body is at the moment. So it shows, like when you for example have negative thoughts and you're in an excited state, it's a very it's not a smooth curve. It's very what do you call it? It has lots of tips and it looks not calm. Okay. And when you breathe in the right way, it has smooth curves. And that shows you that you're doing the right thing. And then there is a factor, a value put to it. And that's so fantastic about it. Because of this value and because of what you see, that you're on the right track. I mean, of course, you could argue, I feel that's fine. I have a good feeling about this, and that's perfectly fine. But many people are calmed if they actually see a number to it on a screen. So the same goes for me. I always felt like, this is good, but when you see, oh wow, now this value is going up to 10, it's somehow very persuasive, I'd say.
Yeah, it's like our left brain, isn't it? Needs to see the data. Our right brain feels it, but I'm like that. If I could see the numbers, I think it would help relax me. I'm going to look into that. I've interviewed Roland actually. I really enjoyed talking to him, but I didn't know about this device. So I need to look into that. Cool. Okay, I love coherence breathing. I've had a couple of good experiences with that, and it just relaxes me. I just don't do it enough. I just need to do it more, because I know that they say to get the best benefits, I think you've already said this, sort of 30 days at 20 minutes a day to start to reap the rewards of that and get your body trained. But very, very, very cool. Be good now maybe to talk a bit about hyperventilation. I'd love to get your thoughts on hyperventilating exercises. Good, bad, something else. Where's your head at there?
Hyperventilation is a very effective tool to do different things, but it can also be dangerous, especially when freediving, because it easily leads to blacking out. The positive effect is that the urge to breathe is prolonged. So when you normally feel the urge to breathe at 3 minutes and you hyperventilate a lot, it can easily be postponed to 4 or 5 minutes. That's a good thing on the one hand. On the other hand, your body, of course, adapts to it. You release a lot of carbon dioxide from your body. And what happens is that your vessels constrict, because your body thinks, now I have more oxygen available, because it's always a relation between these two. And when the vessels constrict, less oxygen reaches your brain. So when you start your dive, you can already black out, especially when you hyperventilate a lot, your vessels constrict, and then you take a deep breath, which has the effect that your blood pressure drops, so even less oxygen reaches your brain. So that effect is called the packing blackout. So the combination of hyperventilation, vessels constrict, and then inhaling, blood pressure drops, not enough oxygen reaches your brain, so you can black out before you even started your dive.
Oh, wow.
And especially when you're alone, that's really dangerous. So if you want to try that, you definitely need some expert on your side who watches over you. And the other thing that could happen is that your urge to breathe sets in so late that the partial pressure of oxygen has dropped below the limit, like it's around 70% of oxygen in your body that makes your brain get into protection mode. So this could actually happen before having the urge to breathe. So it's the second thing that's dangerous about hyperventilation. But as I mentioned before, if you're doing it the right way and if you have a proper trainer, it could help your performance because you can relax for longer. I mean, that's a very individual thing. Some people say the urge to breathe gets harder then, and it's also detrimental to their performance. And I agree, if I do a lot of hyperventilation, a very strong type, but for my attempts, I did just a minor type of hyperventilation. I had the feeling that it helped me a lot.
Okay. And have you played with hyperventilation nose versus mouth and noticed any differences?
To be honest, I don't know. Maybe it's my nose, but it's like it feels like it's much too narrow and it takes too long to inhale and exhale through my nose. That's why in the end of the preparation and also even before, I prefer exhaling through my nose, but in the end I do through the mouth, and in the end I inhale and exhale through my mouth. So yeah, maybe it's my weird nose, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, you've clearly got something good going on. You're doing these 10-minute breath holds. Something's working for you. Have you come across, do you know Andrew Huberman? I don't know if you've maybe seen him on YouTube. He's a neuroscientist, but I don't think he invented this. This is, all the breathing techniques already exist, I guess. But he talks about the benefits of double inhale, exhale for relaxation. So it's 80%, 10%, and out. So have you played with that one at all? I'm wondering if that would be any good.
The exhalation is kind of similar, but I didn't really try that one. No.
I'd be interested if you maybe play with that and let me know if it's any better, because what he says is the first inhale fills the lungs up to a certain amount, and then then there's already pressure in there, and then the second inhale, while all the kind of capillaries and everything is open, kind of forces more oxygen in. So he says you only need to do that exercise a couple of times to release a state of relaxation. But
yeah, I mean, it does make sense because it stretches your intercostal muscles also. The first 80%, everything gets warm, and basically the rib cage is the part of your body that restricts how much air can be inhaled into your lungs, right? So when the rib cage is stiff, for example, your lungs cannot expand beyond a certain point, but when they are flexible, you can inhale a little more.
Right.
So if you do that 80%, your rib cage expands a little, gets warm and stretched, and then you can maybe inhale a little bit more than if you would have done it from the beginning, because it doesn't really... it's not stretched yet. Does that make sense? Makes sense.
It does. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. Okay, cool. So if someone's listening to this now, then most of us are not free divers. We're not going deep in the water, holding a breath for a long period of time. But is there some takeaway things you can recommend? Is it the relaxation? Is it, I don't know, putting your face in a bowl of ice water? What are some techniques? Because I think a lot of us are very stressed right now and tired. And so I think you've already answered a lot of this, but is there anything else that you would say it's worth the viewer looking into or trying?
I think that emotions can easily get control over you. For example, when you said you easily get panicked, the emotion fear is really strong, and stress is kind of similar. It's very connected, I think. And when we're under stress, we can stop these emotions from taking over. So when you feel, for example, that I don't know, you're in a conflict, you're getting upset or something. Like, for example, when you have an argument with your girlfriend. I don't know if you know these situations where you're so upset that you don't really find the right words anymore because you're so narrow-minded. These are the situations that also occur a lot at work. And once you notice that there's something going on with you, it's really worth doing these 3 breaths where you exhale a lot, stimulating your parasympathetic system, because this helps you to stop the emotions from taking over, basically. So I think that's one good takeaway. When you feel stressed, you still have some time to stop emotions from taking over and from basically destroying your thought repertoire. Does that make sense?
Very cool. It does, yeah, it does. It's funny because you're right. When you're really stressed, you do forget like the words, or you get confused what you're saying, and your brain's gone into this kind of weird chimp mode where it's just angry. So okay, so yeah, and that's an old thing, isn't it? It's like count to 10, take a breath. You know, those things have existed, haven't they, for a while? But it's I'm gonna play with your breathing technique. I do like the idea of that, the long empty exhale. Just thinking about it is quite relaxing. So we should play.
Yeah. One breath is already really effective. Taking your step back and doing that one breath. Sometimes the understanding helps. That it does something to your body, right? The parasympathetic system is triggered, and it does really calm you down, and it helps your brain stay in the right condition. Because as soon as these emotions take over, as soon as you're too upset, you cannot really stop that anymore. I don't know if you have probably experienced this at some point.
Of course,
with someone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But sometimes you can't really stop this anymore. It escalates, and before this happens, and when it escalates, it's really bad for the situation, because in that chimp mode, as you called it, you're sometimes saying words that you don't. That you regret later on.
Yes. Oh God, many times. Yeah.
Yeah. And you need to stop like your emotions from escalating. And there's one moment you can get more sensitive to that more and more, where you still have the chance to stop it. And just one breath can help doing that. And that's maybe something, if you understand that, and if you know like these deep exhalations help stimulate and help relax you, maybe that helps. I mean, there are lots of situations where I do it myself.
Very cool. You know, I was doing I can't remember where I read this research, but you know, when we're you know these things anyway, I'm sure, but for the viewers at home, in case they don't, when we're in a stressful situation, it affects how we breathe. But also they found in a study in mice that there are some neurons in the brain and they used the word spy, like they spy on you. These neurons, they spy on how you're breathing, and how you're breathing then sends signals back to the brain. And because we can consciously change how we breathe, we can send a signal back to the brain that everything's okay. So it's like I like what you're saying there, because like if you're in an angry state or something's wrong, take a moment, change your breath, and you can actually change how you're thinking, which is so cool, isn't it? We can do that.
Yeah, your subconscious just consumes everything around you. It's your breath, but it's also like your posture. Like your body posture communicates or sends signal to your subconscious, right? If you're like crouching like that, it's a completely different signal to an upright posture, right? Yeah. So that's something to consider if you're going into an important situation, right? everything, like the way you dress, the way you breathe, the way your body is positioned, your body posture, it all has an impact on your brain. So it understands, oh, wow, I'm stressed, or oh, I'm in a bad mood, or I'm not capable, or things like that. And all these things you can control, right? Your breathing, your posture. And that way you can signal the right things and increase your emotional or improve your emotional state, increase your performance, and get into a state of well-being, basically.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Especially, yeah, you're right, because I've seen this, like the Superman pose before an interview, you know, just to get your confidence and endorphins and all these different things. Very cool. So let's talk a bit about your retreat. So I'm very excited because I'm going to be coming to Corfu in July and learning from world-class freediver. But do you want to just share a bit about what's going on and how people can get involved?
Sure. Corfu is my baby. It's the first retreat in the ocean that I've organized myself. I've done it now 4 times, and it has evolved to a retreat that has a very great atmosphere, lovely people, nights on the beach, lots of good communication. So basically, in a very relaxed atmosphere, you learn how to improve your breathing technique and how to relax under pressure. And you learn new skills. And even people who have never dived before can learn how to dive underwater into beautiful spots. And there's, for example, a cave where light beams shine through the roof. And there's this magic blue laser beam-like light. So lots of beautiful spots you can discover not diving really deep. The spot I just described is just 1 meter under the surface. So it's really easy to reach. So you will also learn the skills to find all these beautiful spots. And you develop new skills, and that's all in a relaxed atmosphere. So it's a beautiful time of the year when I meet the crowd, and we do our thing, the free diving.
I'm very excited. So for everybody watching or listening, the link is down below. There's very limited spaces, so you can click on that link, go to Tom's website and find out more. And if you do decide to come, you get to meet Tom. And you get to, I'll be there as well, so we can, be very. I'm very excited because I've never done anything like this. I'm very not scared. That's the wrong word. I'm a little bit apprehensive about the breath holds, but I've got a lot of trust in you with your experience and just speaking to you. So I'm really looking forward to it, Tom. So good stuff. Any last bits you want to mention before we call it a day?
No, it was a pleasure. To me, maybe. It's always good to talk to you and to have somebody who's so fascinated about breathing the same way I am. And it was good talking to you, Mike. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. So again, everybody, link is down below. Go and have a look and be quick because those spaces are going to go very fast if you're going to come and join us. All right, Tom, we'll do this again in person in a couple of months. Maybe we'll film a little cheeky podcast on the beach somewhere, make everybody a bit jealous. But for now, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. Cheers, Thanks. Tom. Hey, thank you so much for sticking right the way through to the end of this podcast. That is incredible. I hope you enjoyed Tom. I love speaking to Tom. And maybe we'll see you at the Corfu retreat in July. The link is down below. And just a reminder as well that my Functional Breathing Essentials Masterclass is out now. So if you want to learn with me virtually, I'll be your breath coach and I'll take you through my last 5 years worth of learning and give you a 5-week Functional Essentials course. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, actually, breathing is the foundation of our health. And if our breathing's off, everything's off. Can't get a good night's sleep. You're less likely to work out, you're less likely to eat well. We've got to get our breathing right. And due to modernity and poor posture and stress and everything flying in, we've forgotten how to breathe properly. I know it sounds mental, but when you look around at the amount of people that are walking with their mouths open, that are bent over, that they're not using their bellies properly, they're breathing too fast, all of these things are causing stress and anxiety and problems and starving our body of oxygen. Now don't worry, all of those things can be corrected with some breathing techniques and some good education, and that's what's in my Functional Breathing Essentials course. So click on that link below and I will take you through on that page what the course is about, and if it's something that you're interested in, then maybe you'll consider letting me be your virtual breath coach as we work together on Functional Breathing Essentials. Also below I have a PDF of 7 essential breathing exercises. That is completely free, so if you want that you can go down and get that as well. And if you've enjoyed this Breathcast, then you might want to check out this breathing exercise. I think you'll really enjoy that. Or if you're in the mood for another Breathcast because you're loving the knowledge, then check out this over here. Okay, wonderful. Okay, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much. Cheers.